Tuesday night rivalry action as Arizona hosts Arizona State. Arizona's coming a little bit up and down recently. They have lost four of their previous six games, albeit all against good competition. Really, the only one that got super ugly was Iowa State. They should have won that game against BYU, got gypped on a bad call, hung tough against a Houston team I think is elite. Tough to knock them too much for that one, but still haven't quite looked as good offensively as we saw at the start of the year, rather, excuse me, at the start of conference play. But they welcome in an Arizona State team that is absolutely decimated. This is a team that is, well, let's put it this way. They have won three games this calendar year. Or excuse me, four games. Sorry, Bobby Hurley. I didn't mean to short you on a win. Yeah, they've won four games this calendar year. They're sitting at a nice hearty 4-13 since the calendar turned to 2025. So he
And don't disrespect my Bobby Hurley. That's my Hurley.
is
We
your
don't
favorite
dis-
Hurley.
we don't disrespect Robert.
Only bad news for the Sun Devils is Robert being Dion's favorite Hurley is like truly the only thing they have going for them right now. This team is a shell of itself. They're down multiple starters. Senior guard Adam Miller, five-star freshman Jaden Quaintance. They're both out with undisclosed injuries. I have yet to get an update if they'll return for this one. And on top of it, Arizona State they dismissed BJ Freeman. I think that happened while we weren't putting out YouTube content. So most recently, the last time Arizona State took the court, they got blown up by a Utah team that figured it wasn't worth keeping their coach for the end of the year. They literally said like, "Nah, we're good" to Craig Smith, and proceeded to take belt to Heine for a 26-point win. The most interesting stat of that game to me, Dion, Arizona State gave up 58 points in 20 minutes and one half of basketball. They also gave up 48 points in the paint and only scored 20 of their own. This team is a mess right now, and I know Arizona's been a little up and down, but especially in front of the home crowd, I struggle seeing the Wildcats not kind of waltzing to an easy victory in this one.
Um, I struggle with people being dismissed from teams following ejections. Um, I've been ejected before once or twice myself. um, Basketball is an art. Art includes emotion.
Mm.
Emotion doesn't always come out the right way. I definitely understand it, but if I'm a college coach, these kids that get dismissed because they get ejected from games, I'm calling them the next day. I'm calling them the next day, including BJ Freeman.
I think BJ
Obviously,
Freeman
what he
saw
did was
some.
he headbutted Caleb Love, right?
What was it for? I actually.
I think him and Caleb Love got into it because I bet Arizona in that game. Shout out to them for covering. It wasn't like a full on headbutt. Like it wasn't like a malicious like I'm about to kill you headbutt, but
Uh,
they like did touch heads and Caleb Love like we did like fall on the ground and stuff. I believe
I think it was Simpson that he's only been dismissed like 3 games ago.
he was suspended too though. So he got ejected from the
That's right.
Arizona
Yep.
and
Yep.
Colorado games, and then was suspended for the Oklahoma State game, I believe.
You're right.
Uh, and then he was dismissed. I don't know if he played another game following that.
Yeah, he was dismissed, I think February 23rd or 24th per a quick Twitter search.
Gotcha.
So yeah, and I mean, he was really like, I don't, was anybody truly playing well for this Arizona State team? It's tough to say with how many games they lost, but he was scoring the basketball, put it that way, and having a 6'6" wing who's like a pretty good playmaker as well. It's a
Yeah.
tough loss, like especially with Adam Miller being gone as well. There's just like not much shot creation on this roster. I mean, you have Austin Mason, who actually he played last game. I think he was dealing with an illness, and missed the BYU game. You have him and Sanan, but it's like outside of those two, there's like no guard depth whatsoever. And
Yeah.
I know Arizona is not necessarily the deepest team. Like to me, this Arizona team feels a player short. Like I think Trey Townsend has been mostly bad this year, and dell'orso is more of like I think he'd be best as a seventh or an eighth man opposed to a starter. But still, they have enough. They have enough like firepower on the wing that like they should be able to score. Like they should be able to score at ease in this one, and I just can't see Arizona State having the horses to keep up.
No, I think so Arizona's clearly unlocked something the last 2 months since conference play started. And what I think a major part of that is Carter Bryant's emergence.
Mhm.
That dude went from like, dang, like he kind of fell off draft boards to like, wow, like if he returns, that would be crazy
Yep.
very quickly. He can shoot it. He can score a three level score. And his emergence has given them unlocked something different for this team because it kind of gives them another like stretch big in a weird way too.
Right, right. Yeah, I love his versatility. I think I'm still kind of surprised he's still playing like a touch over 20 minutes per game. I think Subi, our resident Arizona expert, would say he commits some bad fouls and that limits his minutes a little bit. But I even think if you look at like your solid or the most used lineup per Kim Palm is Bradley, Caleb Love, KJ Lewis, Carter Bryant, Henry Visar. I think that's an incredible starting five. That's like probably one of the best starting, like one of the 10 best starting fives in the country. It's just what are you getting behind those guys? I think Tobe Awaka is a bit limited. He's physical, but that's about it. And dell'orso like can shoot, but it's just the defensive issues that I think limit his role a little bit. But again, even with like some of those depth concerns, they still have a good bit more depth in this Sun Devils team that's just absolutely reeling. And I don't know, probably wants the year to be over. Like watching that Utah game was just truly, truly abysmal defense. Like guys not even contesting shots at the rim. Utah got into the lane at will, and I just expect that to be the case. Whether it's Lewis getting to the rim, whether it's Bradley getting to the rim, drawing fouls, or kind of just feeding Visar and letting him like his inside out game. I struggle seeing Arizona State having any sort of an answer.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't know what Arizona State's answer is for like Colorado, who got smoked by Kansas State on Saturday, let alone an Arizona team. Um, it's also like a weird. It's obviously a rivalry game, so you're gonna get a version of Arizona that would probably view this as like a hey, let's just get out of town. If you remove the Arizona State from the front of the jersey and you
Right.
put like Texas Tech.
Hmm.
But they still have that same talent, not Texas Tech's talent, but they have Arizona State's talent. I don't think Arizona would care about this game. But
Hmm.
because this is kind of crosstown rivalry, you guys probably go to the same bars, probably do a lot of the similar stuff that they do on weekends. It's like, yeah, now we got to make sure like our tabs are being paid for when we pull up to Barstool Scottsdale. Like when we go
For
to
sure.
Scottsdale, like our tabs need to be paid for, not Arizona State. So like
Hmm.
this is a little bit of a personal game, I would say.
Yeah, I'm with you completely. Arizona's defense still been pretty solid this year, despite some limitations with guy like Lewis isn't the biggest guy, but he holds his own out there. Even like I know dell'orso can't really guard, but they've been able to cover it up. I think a large part of that is Visar's been a really solid rim protector. Carter Bryant, of course, he's been excellent during league play as like that weak side shot blocker. Again, they're gonna take Arizona State out of rhythm. I think if there's, I don't even think there's a concern. I'm sorry if this is jinxing it for Arizona fans, but like this Arizona State team barely can field a team. Even like a Caleb Love disaster class, he's not going to shoot him out of this one, which kind of segue into a point, Dion. Like again, against good teams, this will matter. But do you want to know Caleb Love's 3-point percentage over Arizona's last 7 games?
I'm gonna guess it. 37.7.
It's low. It's a bad stat. It's a bad
Got
stat.
it. Well, so I'll be honest, I thought that was low.
37 for I would take a 37% shooter on my team, Dion. But
So
last
listen. Hey, hey. When Elliot Cadeau is on your roster, you would take 31%,
uh,
brother.
okay, Elliot Cadeau is at 31%. I'll have you know.
Yeah,
But
but they also guard him like he's shooting 13%. So of course he's at like they don't bother being out there with him.
back to the Arizona Wildcats. Caleb Love, last 7 games, he's 15 for 59 from beyond the arc for 25.4%.
Oof.
This to me is a game where even in the worst case scenario, and Caleb Love goes over from beyond the arc again, Arizona still probably wins. But it's one of those games where he needs to like start turning the tide a little bit and getting out of this slump, to shake out of that and get on the right track. Because like this is when you want to be playing your best ball of the season. It's not really breaking news to anybody. It's kind of cliche because the month is turned to March. But yeah, you want to see Caleb Love get right in this one. Gets to play a depleted Arizona State team that's defense has sort of tailed off completely ever since the injury started coming in, and not to mention without Quaintance, they don't have rim protection either. Um, yeah, should be. I like Arizona to win this one handily. I would say it probably gets ugly and they win by 20. But what are you going to say, Dion?
Shout out Jane Quaintance, by the way. Learned the other day that he's not draft eligible. One, I'm sorry, big dog, because like you should be. But two, congrats on that NIL bag you're gonna get next year, my guy, because it's gonna be fat.
Have you DM'd the Quaintance family at all?
No, because I thought they were going to the NBA. So I'm not an NBA guy
Hmm.
when it comes to helping. I have nothing for that. The money's too big for me. The pressure is too big. I'm not a moments guy, to be honest. So I'm more of I can help you through college. And so I didn't realize he's someone that should be on my radar until Carter explained to me that he's only 17 the other day. I
Hmm.
had no idea.
Uh, fair, fair rationale. I just would say, like, I think for our next business venture, maybe hit up the Quaintance family and see what we can cook up. We'll be back breaking this one down afterwards, though. Yeah, like I said, I like Arizona big. Hopefully, we'll have something exciting to talk about, though.